Hello and welcome to Urban Green, a show that spotlights South Sound environmental efforts and showcases different ways to get involved in sustainable living practices. I'm your host, Leah Michelson, and today we're coming to you from the Center for Urban Waters. This summertime edition starts with an urban learning segment that features an update to the city's urban forestry code regarding street trees.
The city has an ongoing commitment to protect and increase Tacoma's urban forest. A recently updated municipal code serves to enhance this commitment.
The Urban Forestry chapter of the municipal code is chapter TMC 920, Urban Forestry, and that section of code specifically is for public trees. So it helps to regulate what we do with actions around trees in the public right-of-way, and those are areas that are typically outside of your parcel boundaries, so street trees such as we have around us today. So if you prune or plant or remove a tree in the public right-of-way, that is captured underneath that urban forestry code section, as well as actions for trees on city real property as well, like our public open spaces and natural areas.
The initial municipal code regarding street trees was authored in 1927, almost 100 years ago.
That portion regulating tree pruning and removal, for instance, has not been touched since 1927 up until this year. And in December of 2023, City Council they adopted an ordinance to update that municipal code to, again, consolidate all of our urban forestry actions for public trees. So pruning, planting, and removals in the public right-of-way, and actions on public real property as well.
Other updates include the adoption of a heritage tree program, which is a public recognition program for the community's largest and most significant trees. Any community member can enroll their tree as long as it meets the standards listed in the code for size or significance.
In the last 100 years, the way that we view trees in the public right-of-way or in our communities in general has changed, culturally, but then also in terms of infrastructure as well. So we used to see trees as a thing of beauty in our cities, right? They provided street decorations. And now we know they're actually essential public infrastructure. So they help to reduce the urban heat island effect, so they cool our communities during extremes in heat. They help to filter and manage stormwater, keeping our Puget Sound healthy. And trees also help to define our communities. So some areas of the city we actually know for our big historic trees. And some areas we also are trying to improve our tree canopy throughout as well.
The city has rebuilt the public tree planting, pruning, and removal permits from the ground up, which will streamline the application and review process and provide additional guidance, support, and tips to be successful.
I think the biggest change that the community can expect to see is just our permitting standards in general. So we used to ask questions about the level of impact for the tree, kind of what your intent was and where the location of the tree is. And now we're also asking questions about what is your intent. So are you pruning that tree for clearance over roadways or sidewalks? Are you pruning trees to maintain health of the tree? And in terms of removal, we ask that now you demonstrate the purpose for your removal. Is it because the leaf litter is accumulating to a degree where you don't want to manage it? Or is it that the tree is actually a public hazard?
These questions aim to help protect urban tree canopy as well as meet stormwater and urban heat needs for the benefit of the community.
When the municipal code was adopted in December of 2023, City Council adopted some initial actions right away. So things like the way that we handle violations for illegal tree removals or prunings or plantings, for instance, or tree removals on city public property. Some things that are delayed, however, to give us time to have advanced communication with the community, to put together educational materials, to update our permit system, and then to hire staff. It will now be active on June 1st, and specifically we'll be updating the way that we permit and request permit applications around tree pruning, tree planting, and tree removal in the public right-of-way.
It's important to remember that before doing any pruning, planting, or removal of a public tree, it's essential to obtain a permit first to safeguard yourself and the overall health of the community's tree canopy.
To find out more about these updates regarding street trees or about the Heritage Tree Program, visit the Urban Forestry section of the city's site. Up next is the Urban Tabletop segment, where we visit Marlene's Market and Deli for a demonstration on making a fresh blueberry compote and salmon salad.
My name is Kristen Willows and I'm the deli manager here at Marlene's.
My name is Kayla Johnson and I'm a deli supervisor at the Deli Marlene's Tacoma. And today we're making a blueberry compote salad with our salmon.
So today we are here to make our blueberry compote that's going to go on top of the greens and with the salmon that we collected. So over on the end here we have our salmon, which you'd want to prepare first. So
you want to prepare it first. You want to cook it for 450, anywhere between 12 to 16 minutes.
And then with ours we have lemon juice and garlic on there. but we grabbed ours from the deli, so that's pre-prepared. And then we have our greens that we collected from the salad bar. We have feta cheese that we gathered that'll be a topping for our salad. Some roasted walnuts. And then for our blueberry compote, we have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice there. Our lemon zest from our lemons that we gathered from produce.
And we have water as well with some maple syrup and also our thyme. And we're gonna mix all these ingredients together to make our compote.
So we'll start with our water. We'll add that to our pan, which is already warm. Therefore, if you wanna keep it on a medium heat, that way you're not overcooking. It'll create kind of a low simmer. So there's our lemon juice with our water. And then we'll add our maple syrup in there. So I always start with our liquids. That way we're not browning our seasoning in our blueberries. So there's our thyme. And then we're gonna add half of our blueberries. So this was about a pint, so 1 cup of our blueberries will go in there. A little bit more. And that's gonna start simmering. We're gonna mix all that up together here. And as that simmers, your blueberries are gonna start to pop. And that's really what you're looking for. Your water will start to evaporate as it steams. So as our blueberries are popping, our moisture is evaporating, it's gonna start to thicken and congeal, which is the consistency that you're looking for there. So as that cooks, we could start plating our salad.
So here we have our salad that we got from the salad bar. We have spring mix, spinach, and kale. You can also use green leaf or any other type of produce that you would like to use. It's all organic ingredients. I'm gonna start plating that now. And nice, beautiful green colors all the way around.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So as you can see, our blueberries are starting to boil. We're getting that color that's coming out of the blueberries. Some of them have already started to kind of pop, which is perfect. So just keep stirring because you don't want the sugar from the maple syrup or the blueberries to start to scorch. So make sure that it's simmering, not too hot, and moving that heat around on your blueberries. So you can kind of see it's starting to thicken up already, even though there's still a lot of moisture in there. And our berries are starting to pop and everything like that. So I think it might be a good time now to add our last remaining blueberries, and that way we get kind of the good balance of some whole blueberries in there, still cooked, and then our lemon zest also, which will be really wonderful. And then as the last little bit of the moisture evaporates, that'll get the lemon zest flavor infused with the rest of it. Add our last blueberries in there.
And we'll also add our lemon zest.
This is the zest of just from 1 lemon, which comes out to about 2 teaspoons. Depends on how big your lemons are and how much lemon flavor you want in it too, I guess. So as this continues to cook, you'll get less and less of your water in there, and it'll start to really thicken up nicely, which you can see it's already kind of done. So if you tilt your pan up, you can tell it's thickened up with the juice and the berries and all that in there. So when you're finished with this, when you feel like it's a good texture, you kind of really want that thickened juice that's in there. Your berries will start to cook down. You're gonna wanna chill this. If we put this hot on our greens now, our greens will start to wilt. So it's really good, and it helps thicken the compote as well, to chill it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Pour this into a bowl. And the more shallow the bowl, the faster it'll actually cool down, which is really neat trick. Then, when it is chilled, it'll look something like this, which is a really nice consistency. Really thickened up nicely.
Yeah, it did.
There. So it's almost like a cranberry sauce, like you would make at Thanksgiving or something like that, but it has the lemons and the blueberries. Yeah. So now we're just gonna assemble our salad and put all of our ingredients that we decided to get together.
Yes. We'll start with our compote, blueberry compote.
And our recipe is actually for 4 salads, but you can add as much or as little as you want. I like this a lot, so we're gonna put a lot on there. Yeah. And you can see it's really thickened up nicely and will be great for our salad.
And then salmon. Go ahead and place that. Place that bad boy right here. Nice and beautiful, saying hello.
So we'll sprinkle our walnuts on top here. Good even amount.
And then also our feta cheese right on top of that. Feta goes really well with their salmon. Sprinkle. And here is our finished product, the blueberry compote salad.
With our fresh salmon, and remember, you can find all of your ingredients here at Marlene's.
To find out more about Marlene's Market and Deli and how they work to inspire healthy and positive lifestyles, visit their website. After the break, we'll take a ride on an all-electric bus. But first, the Urban Quick Tip will share a natural mosquito repellent. Welcome back. Now, we'll connect with Pierce Transit, known for their efforts to offer environmentally friendly public transportation. Recently, we explored their plans to charge ahead with their all-electric buses.
Public transit helps reduce carbon emissions by being a rideshare mode and taking people out of single-occupancy vehicles. Pierce Transit has long been a leader in providing clean, environmentally friendly public transportation and is charging ahead with all-electric buses.
But specifically, Pierce Transit has been a leader in this region as far as moving in the 1990s to using compressed natural gas to fuel the buses, and that is a very significant reduction in the emissions that each bus puts out over, say, a diesel bus. What we've also done is now move towards some electric vehicles, electric buses. We started that in 2018, and we now have 9 of those in our fleet.
Currently, their fleet is 5% battery electric. Their overall goal is to have 20% battery electric buses by the year 2030.
So there are a number of benefits. The first is, as I mentioned, the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions. It's significant over, of course, diesel buses and even the compressed natural gas buses. Another benefit of electric buses is that they are quieter than their compressed natural gas or diesel counterparts. This is a nice feature for passengers when they're riding the bus, but also it reduces noise pollution in urban and residential areas as well.
Another benefit is that battery electric buses cost less in the long run, with less operational and maintenance cost when compared to traditionally fueled buses. These buses serve most of the routes in the Pierce Transit system.
Of course, just like you have to put gas in a regular bus, you have to charge the electric buses. And so depending on where the route runs, that gives us the range for that particular day that an electric bus can cover. So if the bus, for example, makes 2 layovers at the Commerce Street facility, we have chargers there, so they can boost their charging capacity and therefore have a longer range for that particular day. If they go on a route that does not pass through Commerce, then their range will be shorter.
A commitment to environmentally friendly public transportation continues through their zero emissions transition plan.
And in that plan, of course, it covers the future purchase of more battery electric buses, but we're also looking at electrifying more of our fleet, and that can be support vehicles and then rideshare, otherwise known as vanpool. We also have a 6-year strategic plan that we just launched, and one of the major goals of that has to do with sustainability and carbon emissions reduction. So battery electric buses and other electrified fleet vehicles fold right into that plan.
Pierce Transit is working to make a positive impact on the community and environment through the services they offer and how they operate.
I would just encourage the public to go out and see if they can catch one on their nearest route and just see the difference in noise perhaps, but the ride is very similar to all our other Pierce Transit bus routes.
To hop on board this summer and possibly catch one of Pierce Transit's electric buses, check out the Trip Planner tool on their site. Up next is the Urban How-To. This do-it-yourself segment features tips on selecting the right plants to attract pollinators.
Welcome to another Envirohouse How-To. Today we're going to talk about flowers, the annuals that we have in the summertime, and how to make our patios gorgeous by using pots. Okay, so there are the 3 big things to remember. You've got the thrillers, which are going to be your center, your dramatic piece. You have your fillers, which are going to be something that's not going to drape, but it's not going to get very tall. And you're going to have your spillers. Okay, so your spillers are going to be the plants that are going to end up draping over the edges of your pot. Not only is it important to think about color, say you want it to match the siding of your house, but it's also important to think about what are pollinators going to want to come to your yard and feed off of as well. So all of the things I'm showing you here today are fantastic for your patio and for making your area look beautiful, but it is also going to encourage pollinators to your yard. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get some potting soil. You're going to get any size pot that you feel you need to, and you're going to fill it up about halfway. Now halfway up, about like that, okay? Shake it out so it's nice and flat. Now your thrillers in the middle are going to go right in the center, and you're going to build around it, okay? Now you want to use odd numbers. So this is number 1. Now I'm seeing that it's a little bit low, so I'm going to add a little bit more potting soil. Can you see the rim here? You want to fill it, ultimately, you want to have it right to where that rim is. And there's a line inside of the pot as well. That's where you want your soil line. So I'm going to add just a little bit more soil to bring that level up a little bit. Give it a little shake to flatten it out. And typically what you're going to do is you're going to take them out of their pots, place them in there, hunker them in, and then I've got my thriller. Now I need my fillers. Now I've got several different fillers here. You can use celosia, a lot of different colors, beautiful. It's not going to get much taller than this. I like to use a combination of edibles. This is a pepper. It's called a twilight. It doesn't get very tall, but it makes really beautiful rainbow peppers that are just gorgeous to add. So I'm gonna add that there. So that's 2. Remember, we're looking odd numbers. I love coleus. Coleus comes in different colors, different shapes, leaves. It's just fantastic. So I'm gonna add coleus here. And then I'm gonna add this. This is gonna be several different colors, this pepper. Now I'm gonna add another coleus. I've got a beautiful kind of burgundy coleus. I'm gonna add a lime coleus. Now we're at 4, okay? So now I've got my fillers. Now I'm gonna look at my spillers. Some of the great spillers to use are lobelia. Lobelia comes in many colors, quite thick. You don't have to deadhead it. I've got a white, I've got a blue, I've got a nice magenta. Other spillers here, verbena. Verbena is fantastic. Again, you don't have to deadhead verbena. It just keeps blooming and it'll spill right over. This is another type of verbena. It's got this beautiful variegation. It's called a lavender bop. And then you have your petunias. This is another really great spiller. So I'm gonna add this petunia to this, and I'm gonna add, I've got 4, so this would be 5. Tuck it in. I'm gonna tuck it into the next to that lime because this is a really lovely magenta color, and it will play with that lime. And let's see, let's add another spiller. So I'm gonna add this white spiller, and I'm gonna add that right here because we've got so much color there. I'm gonna add this spiller right here. Okay. Got a nice spillage of that white. As it grows up, it's gonna just take over and go right over there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 1 more spiller. And since we've got some nice limes and whites and burgundies in here, I think I'll add some lobelia. I'm gonna add this lobelia in there. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add a potato vine because this is a really cool plant. Now we can't, it's a sweet potato vine, we can't grow sweet potatoes here in the Pacific Northwest because we don't have enough heat for it, but we can take the advantage of these wonderful spillers of potato vine, and they are spectacular. So I am going to put this one, nice potato vine in there, add it right there. So now I have 7 annuals in here, and odd number. I've got my thriller in the center. I've got my fillers here, my coleus, my pepper, and then I have my spillers. I've got my petunia, I have my sweet potato vine, and I have my calabrax. So this is a great way. It seems like a lot of plants in a pot, but it's a really great way to have just lush color all season long. All of these are full sun. If you have part shade, you're going to want to make sure that these plants in particular are going to have at least 8 to 9 hours of full sun. They are going to keep blooming and looking gorgeous for the entire season until we have our first frost. Now, what you're going to need now is you're going to need to water it all in. I like to use a watering can that doesn't tip this direction, but tips this direction. And I'll show you why, because if we're watering this in, you want it to go deep down in there, okay? You want to get right in there. If this is tilted this way, you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it becomes a shower. So once these get a little bit bigger, the shower method will be fine. But when they're short like this and you really want to get in there, it directs that water nicely. It's nice to get a watering can that you can turn. Fertilizing, you're going to want to use the organic bloom fertilizer. Now, there's lots of different bloom fertilizers. Make sure you get one that is organic. Gardener and Bloom, the all-purpose, works great as well. But if you want to see those lush flowers, you want to keep them going, the peppers will go just crazy. They'll have beautiful colored peppers on there. You're going to want to use a fertilizer that is for blooms and blossoms.
These how-tos were created in partnership with the Envirohouse free workshop series, designed to support healthy, sustainable homes and gardens. For a listing of workshops, visit the city's site. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Urban Green. I'm Leah Michelson, leaving you with more ways to engage in sustainable living practices that are right for your lifestyle.